last week on Legally Kidnapped.
Good evening. Our top story this week, child protection groups threaten to boycott Amazon.com for its decision to sell the Pedophile's Guide to Love and Pleasure, which they later chose to take off the website. In Texas this week, a 16-year-old boy dies while being restrained at a residential treatment facility for troubled foster children. The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to step into a custody battle between a lesbian and her former lover who renounced homosexuality and disappeared with the kid. In Los Angeles, California, a backlog of child protective cases is said to be the cause of them leaving children at risk. The head of the department is warning of pending chaos, and nobody cares what she says because she's on her way out anyway. In Missouri, the state Supreme Court is going to decide whether or not the child protection industry has the right to adopt out the kid of an incarcerated illegal immigrant who is facing deportation. And of course, the adoptive parents are fighting to keep the kid. A 2-year-old girl is found safe after a woman pretending to be a child protective worker shows up at the door and snatches the kid. Children's Rights drops its lawsuit in federal oversight of the child protective industry in Tennessee, and the system sucks are up in arms over Nebraska's attempts at reform of the foster care system. According to a Consumer Reports survey, 84% of children diagnosed with ADHD are treated with drugs at some point. A new study from the U.S. military finds that children who have a parent deployed overseas are more likely to develop behavioral problems and mental health issues. And another biased study claims a 0% child abuse rate in lesbian households. In England this week, parents who adopt abused children are hampered by a woeful lack of support from the child protective industry. A gay man is in a bitter custody battle with a lesbian woman over their children born by artificial insemination, and teenage drinking is now considered child abuse. A British teacher with postnatal depression kills her 10-day-old baby after they took her medication away, and a 5-year-old dies after being given a huge overdose of epilepsy medication while in the hospital. New data reveals that black children are being overrepresented in the British juvenile justice system. Teachers are afraid of being sued if they are given the power to physically restrain bad kids in their classrooms without giving them the proper training. And MPs are saying that the British child protective industry is not fit for its purpose. In Quebec, Canada, the Salvation Army is dropping its expectations as there are less people able to help and more people in need. In entertainment news this week, Eric Roberts calls Kate Gosselin a child abuser. Then, 2 of her kids are expelled from school for fighting. Mel Gibson is ordered to pay $60,000 in back child support, and Child Protective Services snatches the baby from Teen Mom star Amber Portwood and gives her to the father. The child protective industry of Washington, D.C. settles a lawsuit for $10 million after placing a foster child with a foster mother who beat him so bad that he suffered permanent brain damage. In Oregon, the child protective industry drops a lawsuit for back child support against a Canadian mother who won her kid back after he had been wrongfully captured and held hostage in the foster care system for 2 years. And in Kentucky, the Cabinet for Health and Family Services is suing the juvenile court judge to stop him from ordering investigations of child abuse. In this week's Foster Crimes Report, a dad from Kansas is busted for trying to solicit sex from a police officer who claimed to be a 13-year-old girl. In California, police are looking for a real mother who snatched her kid back from the foster care system. A gay couple from Chicago is mad because a faith-based organization won't let them adopt a child based on sexual orientation. And a man who was adopted through the foster care system 30 years ago is reunited with his birth parents. In New York, 2 child protective workers get attacked while attempting to conduct a child abuse investigation, and parents are flipping out over a bed bug that was found at a school in Manhattan. In Ohio, 3 teenagers are caught after attempting to escape from a group home. And finally, tonight, Ohio parents are forced to camp out in the cold just to get a place in line to get their kids enrolled into a decent school. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.